Okay, all
Oh,
good.
it's being live streamed.
Yeah. All right, that's it. We are in. We're
Okay.
live. Joe.
Hi.
So hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Beauty and the Priest. 2 minutes delayed, but we're getting to learn. And anyway, most of you are gonna still see us in a replay, I believe, because we're quite in the very beginning of our operations. But we both have good expectations towards the future, even though we can still hear some like I like those little mistakes, the little error when you're still an amateur, you don't really know what you're doing. We don't appreciate quite like when I go see bands, music bands, there is those who are very professional and it's cool to watch them. But when you go see your local band who's kind of like not too finely tuned yet, and there's some beauty to it, to this amateurship, this fragility, this like I don't really know what I'm doing, but in the way this band that's amateur has the potential to be the next big thing in a way. You see what I mean? Like that's what you're looking for when you go to see amateur bands. Is like you want to push them towards improving their game and becoming better than they are today. So there's a beautiful experience to that's a different flavor from seeing big band. And of course I'm saying that because we're like the very 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 local band in a way. Me and Joe. Like the underground of the underground of sense making. What do you think, Joe?
We're in the basement. No, probably sewer.
Yeah. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. We're going to say one day, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
What's on your coffee mug, by the way?
It's from my college, the USC, University of Southern California. They're the Trojans.
The Trojans?
Yeah, USC, right? It's a really top school. So I got my master's, and a lot of rich people go there. But of course, I got in because of the military. But they call it the University of Spoiled Children. USC.
But not you, right?
Not me. No, I got in because I was a veteran. But it's awesome to say that I graduated from there.
So it's a really school for rich kids, right?
Huh?
It's a school for rich kids.
Yeah, but it's a private school. That's why, and it's in Southern California, so in Los Angeles. So it's it's a really hard school to get into. So it's kind of a badge of honor, I guess. But I don't talk about those things too much.
But what I like is that the team is called the Trojan, right?
Yeah.
So is it the baseball team, football team, the Trojan, or is the mascot of the
mascot of the school?
Mascot of the school. Mm.
Yeah.
I like do you know the story of the Trojan
horse? Yeah, Trojan. I do.
I think my job title is Trojan horse.
Oh, but
my real one,
But wasn't the Trojan horse pretty destructive?
Depends for whom. It's a function. It's a function, right? But it's the one, in a way, it's the best strategy when you're small to conquer something big. Guaranteed. It's like you give a gift, but it's actually poisoned. It's the oldest
yeah.
It's the oldest trick in the book of all strategies, in a way. The art of war, in a way, is the art of peace. If you read it upside down, right? But I think this is these stereotypical stories, you know, like how do you like normal people, you know, like the base, the people who are not at the helm of anything in politics or not rich. We still, we are numerous, but we're weak. We don't have good weapons, right? You know, to overthrow the government, to move towards something else, because it's like, they've got many things, but now we live in a different world and we have different tools. We have great tools of communications, which is the internet. And so, because in a way, the war that is going on at the moment is an information war, is a story war, is who is the master of the narrative. And so all the old institutions that used to hang on to their narrative and that you used to believe, now the illusion breaks away. It's like, not sure if I can quite believe it anymore. I once did, but I don't know now. And because so many institutions are falling in terms of credibility, be it pharmaceutical company, governments, you know, politicians, everywhere you look, it's actually new narratives ought to take over. But like, which one is it going to be? That's the big question. Like, instead of focusing on, you know, playing by the rules of the old game, it's like, how do we be constructive and create a new game together? And so,
yeah, it's interesting though, because when you think about the story of the Trojan horse, you know, like it was supposed to be a gift. So in a way, it's like, oh, this blends with us. This is something of us. And then it wasn't, right? So if you're thinking about, say, trying to topple a authoritarian, my gosh, I can't say it right now, but authoritarian government, what kind of a gift could you give them that they would welcome in today's age, right? Like, because if it is something that looks like it belongs to them, the people, the oppressed, right, the regular people wouldn't trust that either, right? Because it's like, oh, that looks like them, it acts like them, it quacks like them, it must be them, you know?
yeah. Well, first, I think we will have to examine a bit further, you know, what is really the source of the oppression. You know, what kind of oppression and what is the source? And it's not obvious. You know, I think that's the problem. It's like, if it were, you know, like you could say a bad king, you know, like with his army of Viking, go and slaughter people who comes, it would be easy to figure out who's the bad guy. But now it's like, who's the bad guy? Who's the source of the oppression really? Where does it come from?
Well, I definitely think it's information. And that's why, say, in the United States, local journalism is all but gone. And so all of our media, our news has been centralized to a couple TV stations, a couple cable networks, you know, CNN versus Fox News. And it's like, and, you know, at the fundamental root of this is our political system and how it's this polarizing two-party system. When you have something like that, that is so ingrained in the identities of a lot of most Americans, like, are you Democrat or are you Republican? You're teaching the people to have binary thinking, and that their binary thinking is the essence of who they are. It's a very dangerous thing to teach your people or to have as some sort of standard in a society. So how do you defeat that polarizing thinking, that polarizing mechanism that is a two-party system, without a Trojan horse? Because again, the Trojan horse is going to look like it belongs to them. So then the people might not support it. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know if it's going to be a Trojan horse thing. I think it's going to be like most Americans aren't happy with it. So you're going to need to get like the buy-in of the people, which I don't think is going to be that hard, but we are so steeped into that binary way of thinking right now of like, you have to belong to one of the groups. There's no other option, or you're an outcast and you're a wasted vote. You're ruining the country. You know, like it's obnoxious. It's really obnoxious.
So would you say that the source of the oppression is this binary way of thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it stems from.
Mm.
And if you think about it, you can even go deeper when you think about religion, some of these, like the Christian religion, for instance, it's like you either believe that Jesus is the Son of God or you don't. You're either Jewish or you're not. You're either Muslim or you're, you know, like it's so, there's no nuance, there's no room. And like when you think about Eastern traditions, there is. So it goes, you know, it goes even deeper because it's, what's the purpose of separation of church and state when you can see religious influences dominating our political system, you know? There's nuance in life. It's a spectrum. The rainbow isn't black and white. It's, you know, 7 different colors.
Yeah. What do you think can be helped to, I suppose, help people expand their perspective on reality, right?
It's just thinking about what is important to you, the real things like your family, your health, and realizing that that is fundamentally human and that everybody wants that. And when you can connect to the other, that they're always trying to tell us there's an other, then let's start there. You know, whenever you watch like a movie like The Breakfast Club, right? We love those fucking movies. We love the movies that show people who are from different places, different pasts, different perspectives coming together. We fucking love that shit. Why can't we make that a reality? That doesn't have to be a movie. We can experience that in our own reality. But we don't allow ourselves because we have all of these things telling us to hate each other. Everything is telling you to hate the other person. What was it? The other day I saw a tweet from Andrew Yang. It's like the number one reason that each party has for failure is the other party. That's not accountability. That's not. And I mean, fundamentally, the first step is everybody just needs to take care of themselves and find out what's fundamentally important to them. Like being stripped of what they see on the news, CNN, Fox News, whatever. What is important to you? And just to know that that is what other people want for themselves. Like, get rid of all the bullshit. And if that's all that all of us want, let's get there. We're all in detention, right? At the Breakfast Club, we're all in fucking detention. Like, what kind of nation are we going to be once we're out of it? How's France? How are you guys?
I'm
Are
lost
you
for
as
words.
polarized as we are? Like, what is your parties? What is your political system like? Are there multiple
Oh,
parties?
wait. I just wanted some time to land on what you said, you know,
Mm,
like
okay.
because you said it very simply, but in a way, I thought it was very profound.
Mm.
You know, like very simple wisdom said with simple words. And it sounds exactly like I believe what people should hear, but
Mhm.
I just wish basically that more people would listen to what you have to say, you know.
Me too.
No, like you know,
Yeah,
I've
I
been
hear
very frustrated lately. It's like, okay, you give attention to some people who, okay, everyone deserves attention, huh? But it's like, what is the meat of what they have to say, really? You know? I mean, plenty of
the
things to talk about.
intention, you should say.
Hmm?
What's the intention?
Yes, also, what's the intention? Yeah, you're right.
Because that's where it begins. Because some people have the intention of appearing wise or smart or brilliant or accolades and this and that. I mean, I think intention is everything. If everybody has that intention, that's why nothing happens.
But not everybody has that kind of intention, you know.
You're right. So
So I
that's
think
the important piece.
maybe you know, the way the problem could be ironed out is first, how do we iron out people's intention?
I don't know. I'll tell you from personal experience that when I'm in a group, it's like I have to feel welcome. If there's another loud person, there's always a loud person. There's always somebody. Then I just, you know, let them be their loud self, you know? So that's my own thing. Like, um, and that's probably why on my natal chart, my north node, which represents like your destiny or where you're supposed to move towards, and where that is not supposed to be comfortable, is all the way at the very top of my chart. And it's in Leo in the 10th house, which is like, girl, you need to be out there. You need to be fucking like in the spotlight and shit, you know? But that's why it's uncomfortable, because it's supposed to be like what I'm trying to head towards. And it's hard because there's a lot of people that have the opposite, where they're supposed to step down from the spotlight. Like they're
Mm.
supposed to move away from that Leo energy. And for some reason, I'm always around those people. And it's hard for those people to step down.
Mm. So that's
And
your
then it's
battle.
hard for me to like try to push them out. You know, it's so in due time, whatever, you know.
Mm.
I know you've mentioned before that things feel so loud for you. Everybody's yelling.
I think it's more that no one's listening, really.
Mm.
I think, I mean, it's just two sides of the same phenomenon.
True.
People yell because no one listens to anyone, actually. But yeah, you could say on social medias, yeah, it's like, but anyone, in a way, it's like call for attention, attention. We all want attention, but we also know that a certain degree of attention can give you income, you know. So that's
Yeah,
the race we're in. It's like a, you know, race for gold or race for fame.
that's true.
It's never really a race for kindness. It's not
That's
a
what they
race
say.
for
That costs money.
there's no kindness contest. You know, we have a boxing sport, we have all kind of fighting sport, but we don't have sport for being nice, you know? Like we
Well,
don't
see,
I mean, I'm not, you know, but let's say it would be good if we publicly acknowledge people who do good shit, you know?
You know what though, Max?
Oh,
This is disgusting. You will hate this story.
yeah, okay.
But I think this was like during the riots that we had here right after uh you know, in the like it was right during COVID, and we had all our Black Lives Matter riots
Yeah.
after George Floyd was murdered. And so there's a lot of things that needed to be boarded up and things like this. And there's one chick on Instagram. She has like a following or whatever, right? Someone saw her, like they were taking a video of her. She got out of her car, which is like this fancy luxury BMW or Mercedes, whatever, right? She got out, because she saw someone boarding up a window, and she got out and she gave this guy her phone, and she like got the hammer and was like, oh, take a picture of me. And then literally just got the phone back and went back in her car. And then her post was like, oh, you know, working out here, fucking boarding up windows. But like then there was that video that someone's like, oh my God, this and obviously she was blasted. But so there is a contest for who can do the best good stuff, but
yeah, it's not the one who
it's not the contest you were implying.
It's a hoax. It's a fake one, right? It's not the problem. It's like maybe there's no good judge. It's like we don't have a good window actually in who's doing what.
Yeah, I just thought that was appalling.
Yeah, because it's like I've been thinking about that today. It's like there's humble people that are crap. That's fine. I respect them. Then there's like people that are really good at what they do, and they're humble. I respect them a lot, Then there are those who are really good, but not humble. I still respect them because, they're still good. They can show off, no problem.
Yeah.
And then there are those who are crap, but they show off. And those ones, those ones are the problem all the time, I think these ones are the problem, Like, I think it's okay for me. People show off if they're good. It's like, okay, no problem.
I think they're in middle management.
Sorry, what?
I think they're in middle management.
It's all make believe, It's like, I think in a way, I don't know. It's like there's a song from Offspring, maybe sur Culture, Offspring.
Yeah.
The Offspring, right? Yep.
I'm a 90s kid.
Right? So, but we're same age, right? So, if I forgot, the song "Pretty White,"
Pretty Fly for a White.
Yeah. So if you do not have, what was it?
And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy.
I'm trying to find the lyrics actually. That this is so embarrassing. You see, like I need to be humble now because I'm crap. I think it was. If you lack in style, if you don't rate, just overcompensate. Lyrics I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
isn't that what Instagram is? Just a bunch of people overcompensating.
I did not say that, but I think it as well.
Well, okay, to be fair, that is a huge generalization. A lot of people go there to share pictures of their family. Although, okay, I have an Instagram because I think I just am supposed to have one, right? Like, because I do tarot, so I just created one, like, hey, but it's hard for me to update it because it's not something I think about. And I do have a personal Instagram because I've just had it for so long, but I don't really do anything on it. But when I think about it, it's so creepy and weird, right? Like when people but what, like, when they post pictures of their significant other or something and they're like kissing or holding hands, and they'll say things like, "Oh, I really love this one," and whatever, whatever. And it's like, who are you talking to? Why don't you
Mm.
just tell them? Like, I don't understand. This is weird. Like, you're posting a picture of you and your partner, and you're just saying, "Happy anniversary" to this person. Like, I don't, it doesn't make sense. It's almost like if you think about, let's say you're in public
Mm.
and someone just said, I just love my boyfriend," or, you know, like, it just out of nowhere. It's like, all right. I don't
Mm.
know. It doesn't make a sense to me.
Mm.
I mean, it used to. I will say I participated in that for sure. And then one day it was like, it literally felt like overnight where I just like was like, this is stupid.
Mm.
And I just deleted my Facebook. Like, it was weird. It was a very weird experience for me to just wake up one day and be like, what am I doing? It's
But
bizarre.
what do you think? What do you think is at the bottom of this behavior? What's behind?
Well, I think the first step to trying to answer that is, what are people getting out of it? Um, it's certainly validation, for
Mm.
sure. There's a sense of validation, but there's also a sense of masochism because people will torture themselves looking at all of these images and
Mhm.
comparing themselves and finding new ways to think how fucked up and their loser status. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's also a sadistic part because knowing how much you get hurt by looking at other people's images,
Mm.
you want to portray yourself in that way so you can make other people hurt. It's like a
Mm.
sadomasochism happening. Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah, because we know now that watching social media is not so good for your mental health. Actually, it's like it's fairly well documented. So, and yet we're still doing it.
There's the masochism for you.
Yeah, but maybe because we don't know how to do else, you know?
I'm sure there's a right way to do social media or a way that isn't harmful. Like, I did post some stuff on Instagram during Halloween
Mm.
because I do understand that there's a lot of people that want to see Isadora and how she's grown. And so I did post some things because, I mean, I hadn't posted in a long time. And you know, kids, they grow so fast and everybody's like, oh my God, how'd she get so big? It's because I don't post anything. But you know, sometimes I'll get, when I think to do that, I'll start looking through it and it's like, some of it I'm like, oh wow, look at their children. Oh my God, I didn't know they had another child. What, they're married, you know, so there's some of that, which is cool. But
Mm.
then you just start to see like the stupid stuff and it's, I don't want to feel so negative about it, but yeah, because it's really, I try not to see things in like good or bad. It's just, what are we looking at? What are we doing? And so for me, it's like, it's just a lot of people wanting to connect, but not really feeling like they can do it authentically. So they have to manufacture some sort of thing and still feel like they're connecting, even though it's not real. There's a real strong desire for connection. And I think that's what we need to work with.
Yeah. But do you think online connection is good enough?
That's how we've connected. And there's been a lot of growth,
It's
but it's
good.
been almost a
It's
year.
good to some degree, but at some point, it's still a simulation. And I mean, it, it's good up to a point for certain things.
Right. You gotta have connections with people in real life for sure.
Mm.
But a lot of the time when people get their connection fixed through social media, these are people they don't get in touch with anyways, right? So it's about how do you maintain this sort of virtual attempt at connection to be something that is healthy and productive. Like we've had a very productive virtual relationship.
Mm.
And it's like if people can do that more where we're genuinely interested in learning about each other and are honest about who we are, you know, I mean, there's so much growth that happens when that occurs, especially from like you're in another country. Like that's awesome. That's crazy, right? 100 years ago, that's not something anyone would ever think to do. And that's
Mm.
possible now. People could do that now if they wanted to, but when they do it, there's just so much games and like we didn't play those games. You weren't trying to like impress me and I wasn't trying to impress you. It was just like, if anything, we were having a self-deprecation contest. um, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Why do you think people are on social media? What do you make of that cancer on our society?
I mean, everyone wants connection. I suppose it's the quality that matters more than the quantity, really. Fundamentally, it's better to have one of hyper good quality than 10 doesn't matter. And I think, like me personally, I really treasure this relationship that we have, even though I'm not your boyfriend, right? But it's more like,
Yeah.
we quest together, we are different people, we quest together, we have a similar quest, but different perspective. And so we work alongside each other, but without giving each other pressure.
Right.
And
It's a human connection, where it's like, do people have those anymore where they sit and acknowledge like we are humans just trying to figure this shit out? I don't think they do.
I don't know. I would like to believe that there is more than that one, so see, I don't want to believe that, but like I don't see many actual relations that are that good actually. It's so rare. I see couples that have like really, really good relation. It's so extremely rare actually. Yeah, even friends, yes, you have like with male friend, for instance, you can have like super buddies. And then there's like the guy who's like your confidant, who will listen to everything without judging. And that one, those are the best. I think the best connection is the one where you can remove your mask. You don't have to look good anymore. You don't have to try to.
How many of those friends do you have?
I don't have many at the moment. I mean,
but like I'm talking about like
I have some male friend I can call, but they don't live, next to me. But it's like every relationship is different, I suppose. But yeah, some guys I can call that without my mask is, less than my hand.
Yeah,
Sure.
I mean, that's a lot of people if it's going to fill your whole hand, because you're talking about a really authentic relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I feel like I could say there are 3 people that I could get pretty damn close to feeling like I'm completely naked. But at the same time, I almost feel like there's none.
Mm.
And I just feel like I don't necessarily think that that's common. I feel like most people have one. And I feel like I serve as that person for a lot of people. I feel like I do. But I don't feel like that space can be held for me for some reason.
For some reason, you're often like the confidant, or like, you know, the one that people will go to you to talk to, right?
Right. Because I don't judge. I've done crazy things. And so they know that. So there's nothing that they, you know what I mean? But there's not a lot of people that, you know, like the three people that I can do that with. It's like, it's not that, I don't know. It's not that they'll judge me, but it's almost like they're going to be, oh, it's Joanna's crazy thing again, you know, or something like that.
Mm.
And that's okay. Again, these are things I've made peace with. But like, you know, when you think about something like Sex in the City, where there's like this group of girlfriends that just have this whatever relationship, I don't have that. I don't. There's people in my high school that have been friends and they're still friends, and it's awesome to see. But like, I just didn't. That wasn't part of my path. It just didn't work out that way for me, just based on all the things that happened. But at the same
Right.
time, I feel like I've had a really rich life. You know, when you think about what makes a relationship that intimate, like I have a very strong relationship with my brother and my sister. Like we talk about lots of things, we're friends. And because we've had to go through a lot of adversity with our parents. And then I see other people and their siblings, and they don't have that kind of relationship. They don't have the same relationship that I share with my siblings. And so when you think about that, you think about polarity, the growth that happens when you are faced with challenges, the beautiful things that can come out of that fire, like the relationship I have with my brother and my sister. And maybe that's it. People are afraid of the fire. And
Mm.
so nothing ever gets forged that is meaningful enough. I don't know. That's just something I'm throwing out there. And I've had a lot of fire, but at the same time, where are my relationships? You know, I mean, um, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I guess some people are just meant to have that lonelier path because there's a lot of learning that happens in that path, and there's a lot of sharing that can happen. You know, it's like when you think about the artists that passed away when they were 27. um I often think while they were fireworks and they were a burst of energy, I honestly feel like at the heart, at the core, they were lonely, because it's a lonely path being authentic. For now, I think things are changing. I think people have become so inauthentic and are now realizing the unhappiness and falsehood in that our children being raised by people like us coming into this awareness are going to grow up finding camaraderie in their authenticity, finding the richness and the treasure in being able to be themselves and to really connect with someone who is also being themselves, not trying to be like each other or be like some standard. That's just how I feel things are headed. And probably a little bit of me projecting what I hope for the future on my daughter and what I want for her to experience in her adult life.
And let's hope that for her, it will be a given that people relate to one another authentically.
Yeah, she's crazy. I mean, she's awesome. She has like 6 planets in Pisces, so she's going to be a very emotional, loving, giving person. So I have to try and like, she's 5.5, so I'm not like putting this on her right now. But her root is going to, being grounded is going to be important for her. And yeah, she's just a lovely, lovely, lovely human.
Paul
And
doesn't
I don't know. I'm happy she chose me.
She chose you?
I mean, we all choose the lives we live. That's how I view it.
Like before we are born,
Yeah.
it's like a computer say, okay, which life I'm gonna go for, that one, that one, that one. How does it work?
Mean, sure. Yeah, I do. I think our soul what wishes to expand and to experience a lot of different things. And if, go further into that, we all come from the same source, each having these individual experiences as a way for just all of us, the universe, to expand.
Would you
And
choose a life where you suffer a bit in this life?
what's that?
Would you choose a life where you have pain in it? Like it's difficult.
Are you asking me as a human? Because obviously as human beings, we're like, fuck no, I want to be Elon Musk or something, right? But we aren't human. I mean, we are, but like the part that goes on after this body is dead, that isn't human. That is an energy that wants to experience and to feel. And it already is all these amazing things. It already is boundless. It already is great. It already is love. Like it doesn't want to experience those things. It wants to experience other things, what it feels like to be in this density,
Yeah. Well, I don't know about this theory, or I don't know, like because I follow, like star seeds and New Age, but one time I'm like, okay, that's interesting. One time it's like, oh, really? I'm always on, I'm not like completely 100% into anything in a way.
honor that.
But so in a way, I can be open to possibilities. I'm like, okay, could it be possible that maybe we choose this life, But like, if that's the case, then what? How does it work? Then my mind, in a way, I can create like a story for like a script or whatever. It's like, okay, maybe the guy has an interface where he can gain some point for living certain life. And if he lives a shitty life, he gains lots of points. So it's like, so maybe one like live lots and lots and lots and lots of shitty life, and eventually he got like so much points. It's like, okay, this time I'm gonna be Jesus or whatever. Maybe Elon Musk. Or
Well, I mean, you're limiting it to just this one universe too.
Maybe a different planet.
Yeah,
maybe you can choose your planet, choose your life.
It's trippy, dude. It's trippy. The possibilities literally are enormous. So you just gotta honor what resonates with you. That's it. Like, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. You do what, you know what I mean?
What I wonder what's true, because I can believe whatever my mind creates, but is it true?
Does it matter? Because no one knows. So what is true for you what will improve your
Maybe
life?
somebody
What
know,
will give
maybe
you
somebody
joy?
know, maybe somebody know, but not the person that we think of. You know, maybe like the scientists don't know, but some guy know. Like maybe, huh?
Maybe, but until then, there's only you. And so honor what will improve your life, honor what will give you joy, honor what will give you happiness. Follow your heart. That is where your soul lives. And that can sound completely fucking woo woo, right? I understand the words coming out of my face, but
Mm.
what is the better thing to do right now? Spend your days truth seeking, right? Like asking all these experts and their fucking shit and just having them trigger you in all these different ways. I mean, look within yourself because no one knows anything. No one knows a goddamn thing
We know
sometimes.
a little bit. It's not like we know nothing, but we know a little bit. But we
Yeah,
don't know
enough
as
to
much.
cut ourselves
We
and
don't know
hurt
as much
ourselves.
as we think we know. Because we don't know how much we don't know. That's for sure.
Mhm.
But we know a bunch of things because it's still useful to us to navigate reality. And it's still useful to kind of think about whether that stuff or not is legit. I mean, some people like it, some people don't. And me, I'm always trying to figure out, what's true, because I'm married to Sophia, the goddess of wisdom, of truth. First, no, I was married to Verity first. So Verity, she's a sad beauty, that's the thing you have to understand about Verity. It's like not everyone can have a relationship with Verity because you're gonna get thrown out of whichever social place you're in if you speak her words. If you serve Verity, you're gonna be thrown out. People don't like the truth. They don't like the truth very much. And when you speak to Verity directly, she's a sad beauty. She has many things to talk about, but not all of them you're gonna really enjoy. So you're gonna really have to be patient with her and be humble. And but at some point, I know as well, it's like too much. It's like everyone's got their
Yeah.
own.
I mean, remember the
It's like
conversation we had about the mind?
mm,
If we spend so much and we put so much of ourselves into our intellect, it's just a sharp knife that we end up cutting ourselves with. There's so much more to the mind than just the brain.
yeah. That's why I think it's every philosopher's journey. The one who loves Sophia, it's like you take a bit and then you leave the rest to others to do. There's not one person who can, grab the entire thing, even though it's an endless quest, but it's a worthy and interesting one. Because
Yeah, it's fun.
when you have a better perspective on the rules of reality, then you can be much more safe, like security. Start with this, like IKEA, to design a good furniture, you have to understand the rules of physics, like with this furniture, squash oxygen.
It's kind of a big important thing.
So understanding the rules of reality is important to keep people safe, and to do the right things and,
Right.
navigate through life. And in a way, I like these settings because I'm very much, a truth seeker. But Joanna, your truth is different from mine. Because mine is in a way the Cartesian, the precise truth, logical. But yours is more the truth of like what's true in your heart, right?
Beauty and the Priest.
Mm.
Isn't that what we are?
And in a way,
Masculine, feminine.
I try to combine the two truths, the truth here and the truth there. I believe it's the sweet spot. But I like to be discerning and know which one is where. So like I will listen to my heart, what does it say? And in a way, I will listen to my heart like, yes, I'm an alien in a human body. I believe that. Like my heart believes this. My mind, not so much. Is it true? Probably not. But my heart believes that. I'm really an alien. I'm not from this planet. I'm here help other people figure out how to live well together, you know. Or maybe that's true. Who knows? And I'm just a puppet on a string, you know, that is actually activated by this very spirit that is trying to wake people up. Who knows? You know, there's a huge range of things that could be, and who knows what's true, what's not, you know.
That's right. Nobody does. That's why the question is, what is going to help you? What is going to make you
That's some
joyful?
alien spirits, you know, because I want to go into uncharted territories, and I would not feel safe to do it with anyone else than you. Sure.
To go to
What,
the alien world.
what
Yeah.
if actually, you know, like you know, the legend of starseeds?
Yeah, I know about
Yeah.
starseeds.
So Madame
I feel
Blavatsky,
like I am.
the prophecy, all of this is like actually some children that are born on Earth with human bodies, they actually have star seeds, like they're aliens. That's really what the star seeds things believe. And so some of those have been plugged into human body in order to help humanity to go through, to shift era, to change from one era to the other, to do like the transition. It's like the God sends, you know, sent from heaven or whatever, whoever, because the boss is Metatron, that is both present in the Christian mythology, in the starship mythology, you know, in the Ra material things. The law of one, I think. One of it is
Yes,
law.
I'm reading the Law of One right now.
But one of it is like a geometrical shape as well, you know. And like, okay, is there a truth that is metaphorical, or is it like a literal kind of truth? And I'm thinking more towards this literal, but I'm thinking more towards actually spirits that are even like, you think of an alien as an entity, even its spirit exists and can have its own life and influence on our minds.
Well, it's all energy.
So it's in that sense that actually it's true. Like our spirits come from the other world, the world of spirits. You could say they're aliens because
It's
they're just the
funny.
world of spirits. And in this world, there's no physicality. No physicality
You say
whatsoever.
spirits, and it's, you would think that because I'm the more woo-woo one that I would use that word. I don't even like that word. I just say energy, because
Okay.
waves, and you know, it's funny. It's ironic is what I'm saying. Because like because to me it is literal in that we're talking about light that we can't see. There's only like a small bandwidth that we can even see that turns into like what we consider the material world. There is so much going on around us that we don't see. Like at any moment we have like billions of dark matter just coursing through us, and dark energy just everywhere, right? Dark in that we can't see it, or it's like potential energy. It's a space. No one knows what that space is. I mean, you look at an atom, right? There's like the nucleus and the things that go, the neutrons and electrons or whatever. Most of space, including us, we're in space, is empty, right? So what is in the space in between, right? That's that potential energy. That's so yeah, when you think about star seeds and alien spirits, you know, alien just means it's not of Earth, but the universe isn't Earth centric. It's are we the aliens? You know what I mean? Like, it's just energy that is foreign to Earth. And for me, a starseed is just somebody that has its origin from another planet. Like, it's energy, the origin of its energy, you know? So yeah, I believe in starseeds. I've been told that. I've had a lot of incarnations in Sirius and Pleiades, in the Pleiades. Yeah, I've been told a lot of things. And again, take what resonates. If it helps you to hear certain things and make sense of what is happening for you now, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like for me, it's not really worth it trying to
You
use
know,
my mind to wrap around my brain around it. It's just, is it helping me? Is it resonating with me? Okay, cool. You know, because I already know physicists are like scratching their heads over what to make of reality. So if the smartest people that have studied this done the math on this don't know, I'm not going to bother with it.
Hmm.
You know, like
yeah, you know, I don't like when my life was a bit weird, like very weird. I went to see a medium, you know,
Mhm.
like a woman who does channeling and stuff, and someone like very respected actually, because she used to be the editor-in-chief of you know, the esoteric magazine or whatever. And so we did past life regressions,
Mhm.
and I don't want to talk about whose past life I was, but she said something about me being an alien.
Mhm.
She said I was like a space gray. My color was space gray or something. And because she said like she gets lots of people to come, they're starseeds. She said, yeah, you're starseed. But she said you're a different kind of alien from everyone else.
Oh, what does that
And
mean?
I'm like, what? Okay, that explains things, you know. It's like um, I forgot the name. She said, you know, I wanted to record, and my you know, headphone was plugged on, so it didn't record you know, the full. So I can't remember it,
Bummer.
and that's a pity. But then I had some visions, you know, like using with my psychonautic, you know,
Mhm.
experiments. Where I saw my face as an alien in a black screen. I saw my true face as an alien. On
How did you feel?
to be precise, it was on like a Apple Mac screen, but black. And I was looking into this black mirror, and I saw like it was me,
Mhm.
but looking completely different. Like it was almost like a complete different reality. Like maybe the spirit world or whatever. But as I was moving, it was moving. Maybe I was tripping balls, huh? But it felt like a magical moment. It felt like a moment out of time.
Mhm.
Like really at that time, it was like, this moment is out of time. Something happened, and I could see myself in, and I look like an alien, basically. But to be precise, yeah, like the Zepho in the game of Star Wars, exactly like that. Like a panda, like a alien panda. And
Well,
that's
how
my
did
true
it
face in the spiritual world.
how did it feel?
I was like, wow. First, like, yeah, you could say less handsome than I am, but like super fucking badass. You know, like actually looks like kind of like wise, like a fucking Yoda from the past. You know, like but like big Yoda.
A big
Look like a
Yoda.
ninja.
Okay.
Look like a fucking ninja. You know, that's like a wise ninja. He looks like,
Mhm.
but beast black white ninja. And then I had a friend at the same time who saw some other, who saw her alter ego as well, like who saw some other things. and she saw like a elk-like creatures, and I think they're symmetrical, you know. And then I thought, okay, it's just a hypothesis, huh? But like, what if actually inside of each and every one of us is kind of like a creature? You know, it's actually we are the space invader because we look like that actually deep inside. I mean, whatever. It's like a spectrum. It's another world that beyond the eyes that you can see.
Mhm.
And maybe during certain circumstances, maybe you can see through the other side. But it's like you look at a black mirror, you look at a black screen that reflects light at some point, and under certain circumstances, you can see yourself, maybe. And it doesn't really matter in a way what you look, but it's like, I think it's like different species that all have different things that they can do. That's different for everyone. I mean, that's what I get in my vision. So like, this is beyond like me trying to understand truth. I do not understand the visions that I have. I don't understand the experience that I had were so strange that I'm trying to come up with a rational explanation for it. You know, it's really the gist of it, you know. I saw myself an alien. That's my coming out.
Hey, who I don't know anyone who would, if they try to tell you otherwise or give you all these reasons of why you didn't see what you saw. I would just find that obnoxious because it's you saw it. How can anybody tell you otherwise? And it's not like you're out here trying to harm people with this vision that you saw. So to me, it's just very, I don't even know what the word is for that, for someone who would try to negate your truth. Because why? What is there, you know, like I would question that person and I would say, what is your purpose here? Like, you're not going to change my mind because I know this is true for myself. Truth can be quite a personal thing, right? I mean, we know when you drop something, it falls down. So that's not something you can really argue, but I'm talking about other truths. It's like, to me, it's more about anyone trying to change your truth. I question their intentions and what are they missing that they feel like they have to do that, you know? And I've had lots of different things that I've seen that it's interesting because something will happen, I'll see something weird, and then I'll start watching videos or listening to things that make what I saw clear. Like this was like the very first time you ever interviewed me when you had that whole thing. I'd like to see that recording because I know you sent me the Dropbox, but I think it went away. But that very first one, that'd be funny if you posted that, like
Yeah.
when we first met. And I told you about some weird shit that I was just experiencing about. I said in that interview, like I felt that the prior to the Big Bang or something, that the masculine and the feminine were united and equally balanced and just perfect. And that at some point there was a schism when it became imbalanced and became more masculine. And that's exploded everything. That was like just an energy I was feeling. So on some level, it was just like there's a unity. And of course, now that I've seen and learned about different things, you see what I mean? Like I get this like vision or knowledge, and then I start seeing things that pertain to that. And someone could say, I already know what some of the people are going to say. Oh, that's just, confirmation bias and all of this. Okay, but what gave me that initial vision or thing to begin with? That came out of nowhere, and it's not like it doesn't make sense. And so like that's why the whole concept of like the masculine and the feminine, it's like we're all just trying to progress towards where it can become balanced again and and reunite, so that it can, I don't know, right? It's just a cycle. Life works in cycles. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, I just get these images, or like I told you also in that interview about, or maybe it might have been a little later, but where I just got this sudden like awareness, like I felt like I had the awareness of a planet. Like, I was weird. I felt like I felt like this awareness that was just the source, where I had this image vision of me just going through my life, like I saw my whole life, but it felt like an amusement ride, and that I was completely conscious that this was just an illusion, and that I was going through this as a ride, and that I was like completely aware of this. And it happened really fast, but then it like, so I was like that planet consciousness, where there was like, in my peripheral, I could see my body as a planet, and then there was blackness, and it felt silent. And I felt like I am, like, this is just, I am. And but it wasn't lonely. It just wanted to experience, I don't know, because then it would just like, so I had that I am kind of like planet consciousness. It's the only words I can use. And then I was like suddenly on this, like, I'm gonna turn into a human and like experience things like as a ride. These are just the words I can come up with.
Yeah, maybe you were tired of being a planet, and this time you said, "Oh, maybe I'm gonna go for something else. I'm gonna go for."
Yeah. But in this experience, it was like then I would stop and I'd be like, whoa, that was cool. Let's do that again. And then it just like, but it was all me. And the phrase that stuck out, again, this is like a human mind trying to make sense of a very large concept. The sentence that came up was, I made it all up. So that was very weird for me, right? Because this is before I've done all this.
Made it all up. What did you make it up?
What I made up was, you know, this matrix of like this human experience, like, and it's not like, it doesn't minimize it. Again, these are just the words that can come up to explain this, because it's not something a human mind can really grasp, but that's just the words that came up to explain, like, I made it up in that it's not real, and that it's just for the sake of it.
But what is not real?
This.
What's real? What's real then?
I would say, I mean, just from that experience, what would be real is just, I don't know, that I am that consciousness, that we all come from this desire to want to experience ourselves. So it's not real, meaning like, this isn't it. This reality isn't the fundamental reality, that there is something beyond that, that is like, just is.
So
That's just one of the weird things I've had, right? This is like this was like early on when I was transitioning out of my atheist perspective. So this isn't something like I just imagined after reading a bunch of things or being told a bunch of things. This is like at the onset. And so everything I've learned after that, it's just making that image, that vision I had, make more sense. And it's just interesting. I don't know what to make of it, or but I just know that I've had these glimpses of truth, and it doesn't matter what people think about it. Because it doesn't. Nobody can tell me that shit's not true, not even physicists. But the fundamental question is it improving my life? Is it giving me joy? Is it helping me to honor what is in my heart and to live my own authentic life? Not checking off the boxes of what is a 40-year-old American woman supposed to have accomplished by now? Okay, got it. No, none of that bullshit. I don't have a checklist. And I certainly don't need a lot of what's on that checklist. You know,
What,
and
what
that's
is
okay.
what is the divinity on your wall, Joe? Like behind you?
Oh, that's Isis.
It's Isis.
Mhm. I primarily like it because as someone who was an evangelical Christian, I know that that's very triggering for a lot of Christians because it's like in that Jesus pose,
Mm.
mostly for that. I don't know too much about Isis. I know that she is the top, one of the top divine feminine energies out there that exists, especially like the Egyptian version. I will say that when I got my Akashic records read, or through a very talented, gifted psychic, she kept saying, and she would apologize about it. She's like, I'm sorry, I keep saying goddess, everything. But she's like, I can't explain to you how strong the divine feminine is in your records. And like, she's the one that told me about Ishtar and my strong connection with Ishtar and Inanna. Well, Inanna is like the first, she's Mesopotamian. So she's like the first divine feminine goddess that Ishtar comes from. And eventually Aphrodite comes from that goddess of love, sex, and war. She told me that I evolved through the realms of love, sex, and war. And she knew nothing about me. And I was like, that's crazy. I mean, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm an Army veteran who was a stripper. So it's like, makes sense. And that's the thing though, when people think of goddess, it's like they have to think of Aphrodite. She's so much more light and like flowy, but she comes from Ishtar. And when you look at images of Ishtar, she's got like claws and shit, And I just remember in one of my meditations, her face came up in like a type of statue I've seen of her. And it was like, kind of like a monster face. It would be like something that would frighten children or even adults.
She's kind of a badass goddess. She's not like the kindest one, right? Ishtar.
Yeah. And it was very interesting because this fucking like scary face just popped into my head. And I immediately just felt love, not fear. It was like that moment was meant to teach me like, that I'm not to be feared, because I know that I can be quite intense, or I have a lot of things that are abnormal that just for many people it's like back away, And I just resonated with Ishtar in that way. Like, she is my mom, she's my mother.
People are afraid of you.
Right. But I'm just Ishtar. Like, we can't be afraid of that darkness. That darkness is us, So I feel like that's the light. I'm shining the light of darkness. Yeah. I mean, in fact, I even wrote a song about Ishtar.
I think shining the light is shining the light in darkness.
Showing that it's necessary. We won't have light if there's no dark.
For me, that's the essence of light work. Is actually you go in the darkness to put on the light. That's the essence of light work. When I see many light workers don't really want to look at any dark corners.
Yeah, that's weird to me.
For me, they're not doing really light work. They're doing light work. It's like, like a cosmetic change. It's like, yes.
See, so many spiritual communities can be like that. I mean, they talk about shadow work, but I don't know. I like to stay out of that. I feel like that lowers my vibration when I think about how other people do things and organizations and stuff. I just, yeah, I just definitely feel like I have such a darkness, but I'm embracing that darkness. And I feel like that's how I can get people to really connect with themselves by showing them, look at how dark I am. And it's great, like there's love in this. That's why it's love and war. Everybody talks about Aphrodite. It's like the goddess of love. It's like, excuse me, there's the war part and then there's the sex. So that's also part of it, like they want to leave that out. Like, it's not pretty. It's not pretty. We're not here to be pretty, like, yeah, there's just, and the weird thing is, again, when I first started coming into this spiritual ascension, I was seeking out a bunch of things, and one of them was the Akashic records. And because as an atheist, right, coming into like, I see people calling it the universe or the source, spirit, and I was like, I just don't like those words. I feel weird saying that because I'm so used to saying God, like as a Christian or something. But obviously, I wasn't going to use God, and so I was like, I need to give it a name. And so I had called it, I was like, Esther, I'm going to call you Esther. And that's what I would call source or spirit. And so then when she told me about Ishtar, I was like, holy shit. I had been calling the universe and source Esther. And now this person is telling me I should connect with this goddess Ishtar. I had never heard of Ishtar. And honestly, even when I went to that retreat in Mount Shasta, I'm like newbie into this spiritual stuff, but everybody else was already had been in it for years. They spoke these words. They even had spiritual music. Cause I was like, what are we going to listen to? I'm thinking like, are we going to listen to some Creedence Clearwater? Like thinking like, cause I love the 70s and classic rock and stuff. But no, they had like spiritual music. I didn't even know that shit existed. Right. Like, and so already I always find that I am an alien. So I felt alien even in that atmosphere, but I'm authentic, and I'm not saying they're not authentic. I love the ladies that I came in contact with, but how do I find myself in these situations where I'm always like odd?
Maybe surround yourself with odd people, then you're not going to be odd anymore.
Well, I guess because no one would do those retreats unless they are already spiritual. And I had no idea that was the case. I was just looking to connect with spiritual people.
Did you feel odd over there already too?
No. I mean, other than some of them were very like anti-vaccine, and I never even thought that should be something to be argued about, which the whole country is arguing, the whole world is arguing about the vaccine. And I'm not going to choose that as my hill to die on. It doesn't fucking matter. You want to get it, get it. If you don't. I don't care. Right? Like there's no fighting about this. But there was one person that had to bring it up and be like, why are you going to get the vaccine? It's like, how about we not talk about it?
It just doesn't matter. Like, okay.
It doesn't.
Everyone choose and yeah.
But I think the only way, what I mean by I felt odd was I just didn't know a lot of the stuff they were talking about, because I was new and into some of these concepts, the spiritual concepts. But it doesn't matter. That's that intellect part, I could have sat there and be like, am I spiritual then? Oh my God, I'm so far behind. Like, no.
Yeah. I think what matters is really the experience,
Right. And authenticity.
Yeah.
It's about authenticity and like just honoring who you are, where you are. And like they taught me a lot, they were really cool. I enjoyed my time. It was just it was just another experience for me of being odd. Being like, And I don't know what that means, that's for me. It's not on anyone else to make.
And being odd is cool. Huh? You're different, you're special, you're unique. It's great. It's just not easy to be odd, but it's cool.
Yeah. But now if I go on one of those things, I will know what's going on.
Yeah, in a way, I think a lot of the problem is in people's heart is that they're trying so hard to tame their oddness, their freakness. It's like people are afraid to be the beautiful freak that they actually are, because we're all beautiful freaks, like kids. They don't care, they're a chicken, they're a dog, they don't really worry so much about their appearances, and how they look. You get all this like who looks good, who doesn't, and different social context is different ways to look good. It's like intellectual sphere is like who's smartest.
Oh yeah.
Instagram, who's prettiest.
I think the ladies were
Who's
pretty
got the best
authentic.
technical equipment on YouTube? It's like it's always there's always but are you having fun? Are you being really the person that you actually are? Or do you pose, as something you're not? And I think it's the path of pretty much everyone to kind of reconnect to their own freakness, the demon that the Greek used to call. And I think so as a therapist, my perspective on this, and that's brand new insight, like fresh from the oven that people can take on board and consider is it important or not. But I think everyone is dissociated. So dissociation occurs when you have a trauma. Then your personality split into one part when the trauma did not happen, like it's too bad, it's not happening, so like it's a protection mechanism for your mind. But in a way, it's like everybody's got this protection mechanism. So everything that some of your mind do not want to believe is true, you're going to discard. And so you create this other bubble of like this delusion world, where you stack more and more of your delusions into a big bubble. And so there's a delusion bubble and there's a truth bubble. And by time, it's like if your bubble is too big, you can never break them. It's your main one. And most people actually, they go into that delusion bubble for the rest of their lives. But then some people will do the work of like recombining those bubbles. And actually from that big bubble, going back into the other bubble, the true bubble, the bubble that you are when you were born, and pure and 100% non-traumatized, and you had access to your inner self, direct access. Then you lose this access to your direct self. So you forget who you are, because who you are is, who you think you are is this illusion, versus who you are is deep inside of you, and it's locked in the basement because you're afraid to look. So that's the thing. Huh? It's like in between this higher bubble and the lower but true one, you have to go through the darkness. You have to go to the basement of your mind. What is lurking there that you least want to look and you most want to find?
Well, I think too, you can look at it in this way where it's not that it is hidden away, like you have to go through the dark, but that darkness though, to me is more like, it's not that, who are you really, right? Because who you really are, that soul is pure, it's love, it's right. But in order to get to that, you have to go through the dark. And what that darkness is death. And that death is all this bullshit, this identity, like you said, the illusion of who you are that has to go. And that's the part that makes it hard. People don't want, it's not that they have to find who they are. It's like they have to let go of who they think they are. It's like becoming no one, like Arya, right? Like she had to let go of all of her identities to like the girl with no name, right? You know, so it's like that's how you can access that, is you have to come to that place as no one. And that involves a lot of death, a lot of letting go of these false ideas, false beliefs. Yes, that means letting go of trauma, but it also means letting go of who you think you are and being okay with being nothing, being no one. Because in becoming no one and nothing, you end up coming to that spot where you then can realize that you are everything. Again, words just don't do that process any justice of what that feels like. But it's in ancient traditions, like this idea of being nothing and everything, right? Like, it's wild. It's wild to think that all the things, you know, because I'm not like steeped in all of this ancient tradition knowledge. Like some people are like scholars at this. But it's like I come to these truths and knowledge, and then it's like, oh, this was written about like thousands of years ago in like Hindu texts, or, you know, like I come about it different, but it's the same thing. And, you know, like to your point about like people not paying attention to you if you don't have the right letters or whatever, haven't studied the right things, like, why would anybody listen to me if I just come right off the bat? It's like, look, I'm not an expert on it. Like I didn't study ancient traditions. I don't study ancient religious texts. But somehow I've come to the same conclusion without knowing about it. What's valid? You know? I know that I can help people reach that higher self, or that person, that thing that is inside. And that's why you know, that's the path I've chosen. I am a spiritual advisor, tarot reader, and the people who will resonate with my gifts are the people that are going to find me, and I'm going to help them. But I don't want to convince anybody of that. You know, you will come to me if you feel it. And that's that. And perhaps that's the same for you and your goals, like with your ideas about reimagining religion or reimagining mental health, that just set that intention. It's like, look, I don't have to convince anybody. Whomever is going to resonate with this, whomever is going to find healing in this, is going to find me. I'm just going to shine the light, and whoever will come will come.
Yeah, that sounds like wise advice. I was thinking though, to add some props, you know. I was
Well,
thinking
that makes
that,
you look very intelligent, doesn't it?
yes, I was thinking actually that it's not even meant.
Well, now what can I do? Do I need to smell like incense?
Yes.
I need to smell like incense. That's what it is.
What is the look that's gonna, you know, get me to look more legit, you know, like French philosophy professor, you know. Or there's a guy who looks
I
like this.
definitely think the hair down is a good approach.
Yeah, you think?
Maybe like tucked behind the ear.
Hmm?
Maybe tucked behind the ears.
Tuck behind
One
here.
side, maybe one side. Yeah, look at that. That's cool.
Now I look properly smart. And now, like, what will be the way that I could speak that will increase my perception, my persuasion level 10% more?
I mean, I'm just gonna say it, like being white and a man is already getting you halfway there.
Yeah. That
Right?
check, check,
So
check.
congratulations. And I think
Which title
as an
do I need to
American,
hold? Which title will I need to hold? Like a professor, doctor? Who's got authority?
I mean, absolutely, if you can have a PhD at the end of your name, that's definitely going to attract all the intellectuals. You can talk about all the different places you've been published.
Mhm.
That always gets them.
You know, I feel like creating a character like this, you know, like it could be an inside joke, but like I start with a new character, new name, with those glasses, and I'm like a philosophy professor, and I create like fake, lessons, like Jordan Peterson, and then people are gonna interview me as like a professor, whatever, and I put like a silly name, and I'm gonna play some ads on YouTube, so people so can see the traffic. But of course, the material that I'm gonna deliver is gonna be amazing. So then one day they're gonna look at this video and they're gonna be like, he's not this guy.
Oh yeah, because it's out there now. Your falsehood and your plans and your schemes are.
Then
So
they will.
my question for you, Max, because you do a lot of these intellectual circles and things, what is the end goal? Like, let's say you were successful in creating this persona and everybody started eating you up and was like, oh my God, he's so fucking smart, right?
I
What
just
is the
want to stick one to the system and enjoy doing it.
yeah, but
Is what
no. But let's say you really wanted it. Like, what is the point? Is it so you can get an entry ticket into the echo chamber? Like, what
not
is
in
it?
the echo chamber. I want to be in the echo chamber and put down a boombox and blast some
Trojan horse.
new funky tunes.
You see how we brought this around? So you want to be a Trojan horse.
Exactly.
Because I just don't understand it. I actually signed up to do an inter-intellect. I feel like maybe that's a good place. That would be a little bit maybe open to metaphysical things. I don't know. But for me, I get bored with like.
I like to have big ambitions, like moonshots. And, it works, cool. It doesn't, cool. You try, But what I would like to do is become a Trojan horse for the ideological war that we're in.
Yeah,
So if you can, go ahead.
I think with those in those intellectual spaces, maybe I'm stupid, maybe I'm not smart enough to be in those things, but what is the fucking point though? Like, I don't understand it. Let's talk about all these things, and then
I think the point is for people to learn things. That's gotta be one.
to do what with it?
Like, there's different points to everything. But one of them is like, okay, people, if they're not speaking, they want to learn something new. So that's valuable, like you pick up something new, it's a key of understanding, to unlock something, but it's useful, to know stuff, and it is great. It gives me pleasure to grasp a new insight. So I love those.
Yeah.
And when I get to participate with other people, I get to share my point of view. It helps me clear out my own mind. I get to potentially teach some other people who are interested in the things that I have to share. So it's great. It's like a great exchange of value between people because they win, I win, everybody win. It's like we all share.
A utilitarian connection of like sharing knowledge.
Yeah, we share knowledge, but also we spend the time with people that we like,
Mhm.
that have very different insight from ours, so they can help us expand our perspective upon things.
I see.
So that's that's why I enjoy those spaces. It's true where sometimes you have some folks that are think that they know more than you when they don't know actually you know already. So it can feel condescending sometimes. It's true. Those
Mhm.
spaces can feel like a race for snobbery. It can be a pack of snobs. But I think that's the way intellectuals are. It's just snobs by design, I suppose, because it's all about selecting the right kind of information, I suppose. So it's just you have to deal with. It's the kind of narcissism in those spaces that you have to deal with, but every space have their own kind of narcissism anyway. So
Yeah, actually, you're right. Because I feel like that exists even in spiritual spaces where people are
yeah,
fighting to be that guru or
yeah. So it's not king of intelligence or king of who knows. He's king of
king of
kindness.
anything.
Spiritual field is like king. Who's the king of queen of kindness? Yeah, I've
Yeah.
noticed that in Glastonbury. Like you have those guys who like super cheesy. It's like, yeah, it's all about love, man. But the way they say it is so inauthentic. It's so fake,
You
and
can
still
feel
it
it.
works. But it works for some people who are like still in the matrix. But for people who, they kind of, some people get it, some people don't. Like if the intention of what he's saying, if it's aligned, or like is his intention to look good by trying to say everyone should be peaceful and whatever. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people believe in this. Some people really it's just a great way to catch the attention that they want to get. And so it's easy to get misled when you're not discerning enough. But I think people need to look inside. Like what's really are people true or not? You see it to the passions that they have. You know.
Yeah. I find that part of my intuitive gifts is being very sensitive to that. And
Mm.
I don't like to see it sometimes. Like I want to be one of the people that can just think, oh, they have good intentions. That's lovely. Or they're pure in what they're trying to do. But I find that my intuition is like, I don't know. People might say it's
I
judgment.
think I think
But it's
maybe
like,
you because you've had what I would like to say a wealth of experience.
mhm.
You have it's kind of unusual to have been stripper and in the army and in a super school like you've been and a working woman, and all this wealth of experience gives you good insight into reality. Like someone who stayed in the same place, never done this, they will not have that. But also your perspective on things, and the fact that you're paying attention to those things. So by time, because you've been paying attention, now it seems like you're discerning of those things that don't even have it's beyond words in a way. You feel it, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, you know how everything you see outside is supposed to be like some sort of a reflection on yourself or like something that you need to learn in yourself. And it could also be that because I'm so open to growth and learning and that I'm noticing these things so that I can notice things in myself. But people who aren't open to knowing about, they might not see those things because it's not easy to look at yourself, to your point of like, who are you really?
Hmm.
But yeah, and then there's just that discernment of just knowing, like, I don't know about you, like,
Yeah.
but so we are at our time. What are we
Mhm.
gonna talk about next week? I guess I have to pick something, huh? Yeah. Let's talk about the tarot as a psychological tool.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
All right. You conclude this one?
yeah. Thank you so much, everyone.